Hello, everybody. Welcome. I'm just going to turn up the volume on my computer here. Okay, so welcome. Let me go ahead and pop up the banners and I'll introduce myself. Okay, so my name is Melinda Hart. You are watching Stamping with Hart. I am an independent demonstrator with Stampin Up, and you can find more information about the projects that I create, events, new catalog stuff, all of that lovely information on my blog. It's listed right below, www.stampingwithhart.blogspot.com. And I spell my last name Hart because I often get comments that people can't locate me. And it never occurred to me that, changing the spelling of Hart would be a problem. So anyway, I've been mentioning that lately, and I do think that it's helping. So welcome. It is Tuesday, April 18th, 2023. Oh my goodness. We are moving very quickly through this month. So what I'm going to do is today we are actually going to be, and I emptied it. There's a reason. We are going to be going through the April paper pumpkin kit. This is called All the Little Things. I am going to be using my fancy new organizer. I'm hoping that we can do that on the live. We'll see how it works. I am interested in using it for my ink spots. But if you guys got the April paper pumpkin kit and you are excited to use your organizer, let me show you. This is it here. It looks nice and simple, but we'll go through it together. If you have plans for your organizer, let me know in the comments. So be sure to say hi, whether you are watching live or in the replay. I love hearing from you. Right now, the way that it is, I am streaming live on Facebook, and then I'm posting full-length replays on YouTube because I've received some requests that some of you don't have Facebook. So I am looking into multi-streaming. I'm trying to decide what I want to get. Right now, I'm using StreamYard. But for now, I am streaming live on Facebook, and then I'm posting replays on YouTube. I used to edit them, and I do think that there are some that I will still edit, but for the most part, I'm really trying to make sure that everybody has all of the information. So the reason that I have my two screens up is because I want you to see we are going to be working with the April paper pumpkin kit today. This is the April 2023 paper pumpkin kit. These cards are stunning. So there are occasionally cards that when I get them in the kit, I do very little to change them. And I try to do the original paper pumpkin cards every month so that you guys can see it. It also gets the creativity and the ideas flowing for me. My main focus with paper pumpkin kits are alternates, and you guys love seeing alternates from me. But today, just to be very clear, I am actually going to be doing their kit cards, but changing them very slightly to give you ideas as to what I hold back on to keep them for my alternates. So we're going to be talking about that. But I have a few important things that I need to announce to all of you before I go ahead and get working on the cards. So there's a lot that is happening right now, and that is going to be happening as soon as we kick off May. So let's start with what's happening right now. All right. So the first thing is free shipping. There is going to be free shipping tomorrow only. So April 19th, 2023. The sale will start online midnight Mountain Time. And that's 2 a.m. Eastern time where I am. And then you can translate it to your time zone, just depending on where you are. And it ends at 11:59 Mountain Time. So it is one day only. And it's on orders for $75 or more before tax. Okay. So let me see if I can share the graphic with you. Share screen, share. Let's see if it will let me do it. Share. Okay. So hopefully you guys are seeing this. Okay. So right now, Today is April 18th. So this starts at midnight Mountain, 2 a.m. Eastern time. I will be sending an email out about this for those of you who are on my email list. Demonstrators don't have a lot of advance notice as to when these surprise free shipping days are announced. So they announced it, I think, yesterday afternoon. I don't know exactly when. And then I'm now talking about it today so that everybody can get prepared for the sale tomorrow. And it's not necessarily a sale, but free shipping is a big, big savings. So let's talk for just a minute about certain things that people like to use this for. Hi, Deborah. How are you? I'm just starting to see comments come in. So free shipping is good for many different things. Now, the first thing is the last chance sale. The last chance sale has been really popular. For those of you who may not be familiar, when Stampin' Up! Retires a catalog, and right now we have 2 that are retiring, there are certain items that they retire, and then certain items go on sale. So they call it the last chance sale. That's running now. It's running all through the month of April. A lot of things have already gone. Oh, good. Deborah says she's doing very well. That's awesome. It's a good day here. We're having a good week so far. We did have a lot of rain yesterday. It's a little windy today. We planted a little bit early, and then it got really cold last night. So we tried covering up the little plants, and I don't know how they're going to fare. This was our first year trying that. We're not like expert gardeners. My grandma Hart was. But we might have to start over again in May, just depending. We're in Pennsylvania. But anyway, we're good here too. So for free shipping, of course, the last chance sale, this is a great opportunity. If there's something that you've had your eye on, but maybe you haven't gotten it yet, we have a lot of retiring colors right now. So that's another thing. Now, I know that a lot of that inventory is already gone, but there are some things left. So there are things to consider with retiring colors and retiring items. So just depending on what that is for you, getting free shipping on that tomorrow can be absolutely fantastic. Now, today is all about paper pumpkin, and you guys know I'm going to be talking about paper pumpkin. So I do want to mention prepaid subscriptions with paper pumpkin on a free shipping day. If you're purchasing prepaid kit options, what you can do in the month of April is lock in that current price. So in May, there's going to be a slight increase on products, including paper pumpkin. I think it's just $1. But for those of you who know, you're going to be getting 3 months worth of kits, 6 months worth of kits, a whole year worth of kits. They have prepaid options where you can actually get a savings. And that is also something to consider on a free shipping day. And if you guys have any questions about that, you can let me know. Here's what I personally like to take advantage of on free shipping days. I focus on bulk items. So what I mean by that is I focus on the heavier things. For me, being a demonstrator where I'm showing you guys things all the time, I really go through my card stock very quickly. I tend to go through my ink pads. Like my ink pads need to be re-inked a lot, and I am not good at doing that all the time. So adhesives, I go through adhesives like crazy. So for me, envelopes, all of that bulk stuff. So basic white cardstock, the thick cardstock, very vanilla, like those core items that we're using all the time, basic black, grays. Those are the things that I would be focusing on for a free shipping date, because cardstock, when you're getting multiple colors, that can get heavy. So think about the savings on that in terms of free shipping. Same with if you're buying adhesive in bulk, if you're getting lots of the glue or the adhesives. And as I say this, I haven't checked the inventory status report, so I'm not sure what we have and what we don't right now. But those are all like typical things that I will look into getting on a free shipping day because it is absolutely worth it. And typically Stampin' Up! Only does this a couple of times a year. Envelopes, absolutely. I tend to use a lot of clear envelopes and clear sleeves and things like that. So those are just some of the things that I like to shout out for taking advantage of a free shipping day. Hi, Perrette. Hi, Joan. How are you? Oh, and Joan says shared from Washington. Thank you so much. That's so sweet. I thought it was one set shipping fees. What do you mean by that, Joan? Let me know. And I'll see. And if I don't know the answer myself, I'll get clarification on you, or I'll get clarification for you and I can post it in the comments later. But let me go ahead and I'll take down that graphic. So I'm going to stop that share. So, and hopefully I didn't get logged out of the other thing that I want to talk to you guys about. So for our April paper pumpkin kit, you guys can see the actual cards that we're going to be making today. But let me talk for a minute about the May paper pumpkin kit. So, and like I said, we kind of have a few things to go over. So I'm going to make this screen bigger. Let's see if I can pop over here so that you can see this a little bit better. Okay, so the May kit is going to be focusing on the new in colors. All right, so if you are a demonstrator watching this and you are thinking about taking advantage of the free shipping day tomorrow, then you can participate in the pre-order for the colors, anything, you know, that they have available in terms of the new annual catalog pre-order. But the reason that I am mentioning this is, number one, we're going to be doing Paper Pumpkin together for the April kit. This is what's coming in May. So right now they have the kit in black and white, and they're going to reveal all of the colors on May 2nd when the new catalog launches, because they are actually featuring all 5 in colors in the Paper Pumpkin kit, and one of the ink spots is going to be a new in color. So you're going to want to get subscribed to this kit before May 10th. Okay, so May 10th, 2023 will be the deadline to subscribe to the May kit. I hope I said May 10th because sometimes we change things when we're not thinking about it. But yeah, and they're also going to have an add-on for this kit, cards and envelopes that are going to be available also starting May 2nd. So May 2nd is going to be a really big day for me. We'll be talking a lot on May 2nd. But just something as a heads up that we're going to be doing. And you guys know I'll be having a heavy focus on alternates for the May kit using those new in color products. So just something to keep in mind. That was the flyer that came in the April kit. So I wanted to mention that. All right. And then let me just bounce back to me for a second. So here's the other thing that I want to talk about. I have a few different things that I am going to be bringing up and introducing to you guys over the next few weeks as we get ready to launch the new May catalog. Like I said, it's a lot to digest. So I'm going to talk about it like a different topic in each live leading up to the catalog launch. And today I'm going to be talking to you about my in color club. So I am going to do an in color club. It's for the 2023-2025 in color collection. And what an in color club is you get one color each month, May through September, in certain product. Okay. So in addition to doing a club with me, I also add a class onto it. So I'm going to go through, if the graphic is still up, I'm going to pull it up on my screen. Now, you can't register officially for this until April 26th because Stampin' Up! Has a policy in place that we have to wait until very close to the catalog to open up an event so that you guys can officially register for it. But what you can do is give me a heads up that you're interested, and I'll make sure to send you the event link on the 26th when it opens for registration. So let me see if I can share this, if this is still posted. I think so. Yes. Okay. So hopefully you guys can see this. Now, this is what the event is going to look like when it officially opens. But let me just walk you guys really quickly through what I'm going to do this year with In Color Club. So I did it last year. We We loved it. It was so much fun. I'm definitely going to do it again. So here are the order that I'm going to do the In Color Club. I'm starting with Moody Mauve because it is my favorite, and I am not making any mistakes or apologies about that. I've been working with the colors, and Moody Mauve is absolutely 100% my favorite. So we're starting with that one. So May's focus is going to be Moody Mauve. June is going to be Pebbled Path. July is going to be Copper Clay. August is going to be Boho Blue. And then we're basically going to, oh, you know what? I have a typo here. That's supposed to say September. So I'll fix it. But August will be Boho Blue, and then September will be Wild Wheat, which I think will be absolutely perfect as we start kicking off those fall, products and colors and all of that lovely stuff. So this is what the 5-month calendar is going to look like. And then here's what you're going to get. And I did make a change to this. So what I'm going to do is I am going to open up registration every month for you guys to register. So that means for those of you who may just want to get one color out of the 5 and you want to collect, the coordinating items, you will be able to register for that and you will get the class. And then for those of you who want to participate in multiple or all 5 months of the In Color Club with me, I will have bonuses for doing that, for registering with me. So registration is going to be open for this from April 26th to May 1st. So I'm just giving you guys a heads up now. And like I said, if you could just email me or message me and let me know that you're interested, I will put your name down and make sure that I send you specifically the event link whenever the In Color Club opens. Got all kinds of typos here, you guys. So anyway, here's what you're going to get. You're going to get the classic Stampin' Pad, which is our ink pad, the full-size ink pad. You're going to get the ink refill. You're going to get the 8.5 by 11 cardstock pack. So that means a full 24 sheets in that In Color for that month. It's so helpful to have all of the cardstock that coordinates when you're making those card bases and doing the different layouts and layering pieces and all of that. It's so helpful. You're going to get a spool of the textured ribbon, like the whole thing. You're going to get a spool of the jute trim. I hope I'm saying that right. You're going to get 30 In Color dots. So what I'm going to do is each month, I'm going to break a pack apart. I'm going to cut it up and then you'll get that coordinating color. So the full pack that has all 5 colors in it, there's 30 each. But you're going to get a 1/5 of a pack as part of, being in the club. You're going to get 4 card kits. So for those of you who have already participated in my In Color clubs or any of my monthly classes, these are pre-cut and scored card kits. So that's the cardstock. You get an envelope, whatever DSP I'm using in there, that will be pre-cut. If there's die cut pieces, that will be in there. So those are what the card kits look like. You will do the stamping, the gluing, and the assembly of your card. But I will have an exclusive pre-recorded video to go along with those card kits in class. I will also have an exclusive PDF. That's each month of the In Color Club. So for May, all of that is going to be in Moody Mauve. And I will also do what's called a bundle focus. And the bundle focus for May is going to be, no surprise, the Daisy set. Okay, so it's going to be Fresh as a Daisy is the name of the suite. I think it's Cheerful Daisies is the name of the bundle. Okay, so this is just to give you guys an idea of what In Color Club is going to be like. So for the first club, it's always a little bit different because we have to align it with the catalog launch. So that's why registration is so short. So it's a very small window to register for the first month. Then every other month, I'm going to open it up the last week. So I'm going to open up the event for June, the last week of May, and you'll have a week to register. And then I'll close that out, put those orders in, and then do the June and so on and so forth. So if you do 3 consecutive, like In Color, signups with me, I will include a full pack of the In Color DSP as a gift, and that will come with your 3rd month. So if you're doing consecutive, May, June, July, then it will be in your July box. If you happen to subscribe in June and you do June, July, June, July, August, then it would be in your August box. But you will get a full pack of the In Color Designer Series paper as a free gift from me if you do 3 months of In Color Club. And then if you do all 5 months of In Color Club with me this year, you will actually get the Stampin' Right markers. So all 5 of the Stampin' Right markers will be in your 5th month box. So in the September package that is shipped to you, your In Color markers will be in it. So in the past, I had broken those items up and I had, only sent you that section, but that was problematic because if a person would only want one color and not all 5 colors, I would have leftover product. So this way, I don't have to worry about doing that. The only thing that I'm cutting up is the embellishments, which is totally fine because we're going to use so many of those. But it's going to be a lot of fun. This was a lot of fun to do. So again, this will be open, and I'm sorry, that's supposed to say September for Wild Wheat. This will be open for registration April 26th through May 1st. Today is the 18th, so I'm just giving you guys a heads up about it. I am going to be, that class that you guys are going to be doing with me is going to be fully focused on the Fresh as a Daisy. So just a heads up for those of you who may have liked those cards that I made. That paper pack, that designer series paper has an In Color focus as well. And Paper Pumpkin for May has an In Color focus. So I am going to be working a lot with these In Colors. I personally love this In Color collection. I think it's going to be so useful and with our other colors. So that's just what I wanted to let you know. If you guys have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. But this is what In Color Club is going to look like from me this year. So just a few changes. Happy to talk about, any of those changes with you if you guys want to know. I will send more information out on this soon. But like I said, registration won't officially open until April 26th. All right. But if you're interested, let me know and I can get you more information. The deadline to sign up will be May 1st because I put in orders on May 2nd. That's when the catalog launches and I will be putting in the orders that day. Okay. So any questions, just let me know. And then, yeah, so I'm super excited about this. I'm going to stop this share now. So, what I wanted to say, and I'll just put it on me for another minute and then we'll go down to the table here. But what I wanted to say about this is there's a few different things I'm going to be doing. In Color Club is the first one that I wanted to focus on, particularly as we're getting into using these new colors more, and we're going to be using it in May for Paper Pumpkin. But I also will be doing a paper share, and I'm still trying to work out the details of what I'm going to do for our new core colors. But I will tell you more about the paper share on my next live. So for anybody who's interested in that, we'll talk a little bit more about that. So let's go down to the table now, and we're going to do Paper Pumpkin for April. This kit was stunning. So let me go ahead and get the cards. So I'm going to show these to you. Okay. So I'm going to hold these up. Now I can tell you these are not an exact case of what they provided instructions for. And I'll tell you what I changed and why. Okay, but this was the sympathy card, which this is so beautiful. Hopefully you can get a good look at that iridescent foil detail that they have there. I'll have to see what the official description was for it in the kit. But let me tell you what my favorite thing about this kit is. Now, number one, of course, I like florals, but it's the scale of the projects here. And I'm seeing that my banner is still up. I apologize. Okay, so it's the scale of all of the pieces here. This die cut piece is the length of the card, like literally. The scale of this piece, look at how large that is. Oh goodness, I'm so sorry, you guys. I was getting a call. I have it on do not disturb, but people who are on my favorites can get through anyway. And my mom, who I love so much, tends to call a lot when I'm live. Okay, so here you can see of all 3 cards, this is, I mean, oh my gosh, I love everything about this. So I love anything with a nature theme, but wow, is this gorgeous. So, oh my goodness. This whole piece, I'll show you what this piece looks like. Because we're gonna make these in the video today. But just in terms, it's just, I think, a 1/4 inch border around here. So this layering piece is very large. And then we'll talk about the stamp set and everything like that. But just even looking at these 3 cards, how big these pieces are was stunning. So I'll walk you through what I changed. But the other thing is, and we'll go through the pieces of this kit. For those of you who are interested in making alternates, the envelopes are definitely going to stand in as designer series paper for us. Really beautiful printed envelopes as well. So I did try to stay as close as I could. I did make a few minor adjustments because I wanted to hold back some die cut pieces for my alternates, which I don't have alternates yet, but I will. I have some ideas. Now, what I do like to do anytime I'm working with a paper pumpkin kit, I kind of like to chart out what the coordinating colors are. So every month when you get your kit and you get the instruction pamphlet here on the back, it's always good to go and make sure that you have everything that you're supposed to have in your kit. They do their own alternates, which I was so close to casing this alternate. I love this one. But they have ideas for you right there. And then you can find out what the coordinating colors are right down here. So if this happens to be your first time watching, again, whether it's live or in the replay, I am going to be referring to this pamphlet today, but this is always the first place that I go. So I did not stamp black. I should have, because it's listed as one of the coordinating colors, but here are the ones that I did do. So we have Balmy Blue, Petal Pink, Calypso Coral, Poppy Parade, Granny Apple Green, and Shaded Spruce. And Shaded Spruce is the kit color this month. That is the Stampin' Spot that comes in the kit. Okay, so when I look at this, I see 2 greens. I see this combination here, which obviously I think is for our flowers, right? And the way that they did that in kind of like a stained glass or like a mosaic art type thing, I thought that was so beautiful. So here we have our leaves, here we have our flowers, and then here we have this really soft pop of blue in these backgrounds, which I think is more for this like floral nature theme. So those are our coordinating colors. We'll be using those for this and also for our alternates. This is enough to make 9 cards and 9 envelopes if you are making just from the kit. And then let's go through some of our pieces. So here they gave us 2 bits of twine, and I'm just doing this in the order of my pile. This isn't in the order that you open your box, but I actually ended up not using this on any of the cards. So this does go onto one of the cards. It was this one here. And I didn't realize I was supposed to wrap it around this layer because I don't follow instructions like I should. But anyway, you have that option. We also have the Calypso Coral Twine. So you get 2 in this box, which is so nice. And they used it as an accent piece right here on the cards. Okay. And then we also got these iridescent rhinestones, which thank you. I love these. I would love to see these like every month. But I think in particular, because we have this iridescent theme, they are just absolutely perfection. We have large and small. Now I held back on how many I put on my projects because I want to keep these for alternates. And I'll go through that a little bit more. We'll go through our layering pieces here. So we have 2 different types of card bases in this kit, which I was really excited to see. So we have the open, there's an official word for this card layout. But you flip it, open from bottom to top. This is the 4 1/4 by 11 scored at 5.5 inch card base. And then you can see it's pre-printed. We have this shaded spruce, kind of almost like an ombre look to it. So you get 3 of those. And then we have plain white card bases and petal pink card bases, which let me just grab those. Okay. So we have the petal pink are my favorite. We have just the all white. So this is like literally carte blanche. You could do whatever you want with these, but we're going to keep it very basic like they did today. And then here are the petal pink. So these are our more traditional ones. Now, of course, you could do it horizontal or vertically, but these are 5.5 by 8.5 scored at 4.25. So two different styles of cards, which I would love to see that more in paper pumpkin kits. So shout out to them on that. So those are our card bases we're going to be using in just a minute. For layering pieces, there were 3 of these, but I used one. So you can see here we have this balmy blue. Again, more of that ombre. It goes from dark to light, soft look at the top here. And then we have the envelopes. Oh my gosh, I love these. So these are so perfect for alternates. So perfect. Now, if you're somebody who just loves to have a pretty envelope to send in the mail to someone, you're going to love it for that. And you don't have to do anything with it. It's the whole envelope, front and back. Okay. And then for those of us who do like to chop these up and use them as designer series paper, that will be in the next video. And I adore them. We have 2 different patterns here. This pattern in the top of the envelope is reflective of the pattern that we got on the stamp from the kit, which I'll go through in just a minute. But we have 9 of those. So that is absolutely wonderful. And then we have these die cut pieces. So we have this little pretty floral piece here in Calypso Coral. In terms of the layer, I wish I had a piece of white. Hang on, let me see if I can get just a little piece of white, just so that you can see the detail on that. And then this, you actually pop out. So this is, I'm assuming this is laser cut or die cut, where you just pop out these pieces. And then you get to see all of these little peekaboo. You know, you just pop this out throughout the whole piece, which we're going to do this together. But how much do you love the white background on that? I love that. I want to keep it. And that's where my mind goes for alternates, right? I would literally just like cut it in half and use that on 2 different card bases, honestly. But we had 3 of these originally in the kit. I already used one on a sample. We're going to use another one. And then we have these gorgeous florals. So here is where I started changing things from the original kit. Now you can see, oh my goodness, are you guys let me know what you think of this. Oh my God, I love it so much. So again, I love the scale. I love this specialty pop. If for whatever reason you wanted to keep your cards flat or you couldn't use embellishments or something like that, then you have enough here that it almost feels like it has gems on it, even though it doesn't. That's what I think is so cool about this, that holographic sort of look. Now on this card originally, I was supposed to do a second flower popped up to kind of give it more of an effect. But for those of us who love alternates, we're going to stretch this out as much as we can. So I tend to save those so that I could use them on a separate card. That's just my personal opinion. You guys can let me know what you think about that. It was the same thing on this card. So on this card, they wanted to do a pop-up layering effect where you would take these 3 small flowers. Is this a cherry blossom? Can you guys, if you guys know, let me know. That's what I was looking at. Like, that's what I was thinking when I saw it. But we're supposed to put these 3 on top of this piece and pop those up so that it's even more dimensional. And again, I held off on these because I want to use them in my alternates. So I did want to let you guys know that I do that sometimes. Like right when I'm putting a kit together, I will deliberately hold back on using certain pieces because I know I want to use them on my alternates. Okay, so that's that. And then I should show you the actual stamp set, right? Like if I can find it, hang on. I'll get that for you. And then I'm going to go back to comments and then we'll make a card. What did I do with it? I always take, look, I have the backing, but I don't have the actual piece. So I always mount my stamps pretty much right away from the sheet, but it's going to be pretty bad if I can't show you what the stamps were. Hang on. So crazy. They're probably stuck in here somewhere. I'll find it when I'm not looking. I think I found it. It's at the bottom of my pile. because I'm also not telling you it comes with adhesive. So we have the dots, and this time it's the big dots, and then we also have the Stampin' Dimensionals. Here's the big dots. Oh my God, I love the big dots. Okay, so we have those. Those also come in your kit. And then it also comes with these die cut pieces here. I don't know how I missed all this, but I did. So different size pieces and layers for our kit. I love the banner piece in particular too. So we'll be using those. Those are part of our original design. And then here is the stamp set. So the stamp set this month is really versatile, but what I do like to point out, and again, this is one of the reasons why we do alternates. So you can see here with deepest sympathy, enjoy your day. I'm grateful for all the little things you do. I love that one. And I'm glad that it's like the largest one. And then we also have celebrate today. So in addition, we have some imagery here that we could do some background stamping with, or just a little accent piece here. And they did do a lot of background stamping on this. So I am excited about that. I love background stamping. So on the cards, you can see with deepest sympathy, the I'm grateful, and then enjoy your day. But we don't get to use celebrate today. We don't get to use, at least I don't think we did, the little flower or our little branch. So I like to try to incorporate those in alternates, but we are going to be using this piece today, which is like a texture stamp. It's so cool. Love the pattern that that creates. So really, really great, useful stamp set too. Okay, and now we can go ahead and make a card with my big pile of paper pumpkin stuff. And then the one thing that I didn't talk about, which let me know what you guys think of this. This is the organizer that we can turn our little kit into a little box organizer for our paper pumpkin things. And you can adjust this to be whatever size you want. I want to use mine for Stampin' Spots. So we'll see how that goes. I'll open that up in a little bit. So Teresa is saying, hello. Those are so pretty. I love the florals too. Me too. Love that first alternate that she's referring to here on this one. That is so pretty. That is going to be a really good alternate to copy. And then Veronica is saying, good morning from Tucson. Good morning, Veronica. So happy to have you guys here. Okay, so let's go ahead and we'll start with our cards. And one thing about the sympathy card, I guess I could talk about that when I start to make it, but back in the day when I first started making cards, I made this whole series of like black and white. They were like very stark looking cards for sympathy. And my aunt said to me, you know, could you make them a little bit softer, you know, just a little bit prettier? We don't want it to be, you know, depressing. So when I saw this sympathy card, I thought that's a very touching sympathy card. I think it's very pretty. It's very soft. And it wouldn't make a person feel more sad than they already feel, like where she was basically telling me that she thought that my cards were a little bit depressing. And like I said, that was years and years ago. And I always remembered that. And I thought, you know what, she's probably right. That's the last thing that they need to see is a card that's going to make them more sad than they already are. So we're going to start out with this nice, big, large one that I'm grateful for all the little things you do. And for those of you who may be new to Paper Pumpkin, just in case April was your first kit, I do like to go over this. So they have visual instructions on the inside of the pamphlet. We're going to start with number 1, but they have number 2 and number 3 down here. They have a ruler. So if you're on the go, or if you are in the car or traveling, or if you have multiple homes, a lot of people travel back and forth, between Florida and different things like that. Then you have the ruler. All you need are scissors, and you actually have your adhesive and everything else that you need to make the pieces from this kit. So I'm going to grab we're going to do a petal pink base for this. We're going to try to follow the instructions, and I'll tell you where I went wrong. Okay. So, what it's telling us here is to use our shaded spruce ink, for this particular stamp, telling us 22 inches for the twine. I never follow the rules on that, but you guys can. And then we're going to get this large showpiece here, which is sitting right next to me. Thank goodness. And we'll put that one together. I'm trying to keep these cards together. Okay. So this card is so pretty. I actually don't even like to cover it if I'm being perfectly honest. But if you guys have the small blending brushes, you could recreate this look. Or if you would want to do kind of like a watercolor, like a wash, you could do that too and recreate this look. That would be really pretty. Okay, so I'm just getting my bone folder and I'm just scoring that edge, burnishing that edge. Totally optional, but really nice tool to have on hand. So I'm just going to pop out these pieces really quick. Let me know, did you get your April Paper Pumpkin kit? Are you still waiting for it? I think everybody kind of got their kit a little bit early this month, which I was really excited about considering that orders are a little bit behind. With our last chance sale being as popular as it is, and with demonstrators pre-ordering that new product, it's been a busy time. And catalog launch is also going to be busy. So I'm glad that they announced free shipping. I just wish I had a little bit more notice on that. But I mean, I guess that's part of the fun, right? So I'm just popping these out. These are easy to pop out. This is a nice durable layer. So not too bad. Sometimes when we're popping out pieces, it's like very intricate, but this one, I don't feel like I'm going to damage it. So I'm not being as careful. And you can see we have this two-tone theme here with the balmy blue and then also with the shaded spruce and granny apple green. So it's nice to see the way that they use those colors. That's one of my favorite things about getting Paper Pumpkin every month is they use things differently than I do. Okay. And now on the back here, it does tell you when you see these little hexagons, they're referring to our Stampin' Dimensionals. So we're going to pop this whole panel up on Dimensionals. This is the one that comes in the kit. It's so handy to keep these little, I keep these. I don't know if you do. I tend to keep most of the stuff that I get in my Paper Pumpkin kits, the little baggies. And I also keep the tissue paper. All right. So I'm just going to kind of warm these up a little bit and then we'll just start popping these on. And it tells you where to stick them, but I always use more than what I should. So I'm just going to kind of do my own layout here. Okay. And then I'm just going to pull this backing off. One of the demonstrators, I always forget her name. She is like a complete wizard with getting those little backings off with the take your pick tool. I have to learn how to do that. All right, so I'm just going to lay this down. I'm going to stand up because I can never get my layout right when I have my camera right here. Okay. Oh, I forgot to pop out a little piece right here. See, this is why it's good to stand and craft if you can. All right. There we go. Oh my gosh, is that stunning? Okay, so then the next thing we want to do, I think we should stamp next. So I'm going to get my little die cut piece. It is the rounded edge one with the stitching on it. There we go. We're also going to need one of these. I already popped that out. Okay, we're going to save that for our next card. That's a really cool layering piece. I love the size of it too. We can go over that. But we're going to pull this larger rectangle here. I'm going to use my full size shaded spruce ink pad, but of course, you can use your Stampin' Spot if that's what you have. A lot of people start their Stampin' Up! Color collections with Paper Pumpkin, which is so cool. Okay. All right, and then we're going to use that largest sentiment. So I'm grateful for all the little things you do. I don't know if you guys can see me stamping or not. And I'm just going to line this up with the stitching. Mostly straight, pretty good. All right, and for this card, that's all we have for our stamping. So that's not too bad for the first card. All right, and then it does refer some twine to us. Now, I have to tell you, in my cards, I very rarely use twine in the circle pattern that they do. But they do that pattern a lot. So I don't know what you guys think of that. Like if you like doing that with just the easy circle twine pattern, I almost never do that when I'm working on my alternates, but we're going to do it today because we're following their instructions. So I'm just going to loop this in a circle a couple of times. It recommends 22 inches. I just kind of eyeball it and cut it. Okay, so I'm just going to leave that little circle right there. And then with this one, it recommends our little adhesive dots, but I do have my Stampin' Seal here. So I'm just going to use my seal. And let me just put down my little protective mat here to pop the seal on. It just goes a little quicker than if you're using your adhesive dots. But if you're just starting with your kits, dots are perfect. I use my adhesive dots on all the things all the time. So I'm just going to pop this down. I think this goes on the lower part of the card. So we're going to kind of focus lower left here, lower third. And then this piece is going to go up on a dimensional. Now, I think the twine actually goes behind that piece, but on my original card and this one, I put it in the middle. I kind of put it in between. So I'm just going to lay it down, but part of me wants to put a little bit of seal down. So should I do that? It's going to be covered, right? People aren't going to see it. Or you could put your little dots down. Oh, I ruined my circle. See, this is why. Okay, so let me just loop that around. This is such a beautiful kit. And then I'm just going to try to tap that. Doesn't have to be all three, but I want some on the glue there. And then we'll put this up on dimensionals. I moved my camera just a little bit and I am happier with it. I've been making some adjustments to my space as I've been rearranging things. Do you guys do that when you move your craft room around? Okay. And then I'm just gonna, we want to have that flower detail. So I'm going to put this kind of slightly above. And then we have our little piece here. Okay. All right. Now, here's where I changed it. I repositioned the twine kind of in my own way. And then they're recommending that we use 5 of those iridescent rhinestone embellishments just throughout this layer. I didn't do that. So you can absolutely add those if you want to, but we have a limited number of these that we can use. And because there's so much shine on this whole panel, I personally don't feel like I need it. So I'm going to hold off on these and save these for the alternates because I'm going to be breaking this piece up in my alternates. So that's my finished card, but they are recommending that you put those 5 rhinestones throughout your project. So that's what I just wanted to point out that I'm doing differently. Okay, so that's card number 1. And let me set that aside and let's go ahead and we'll start card number 2. So card number 2, how beautiful is this? And this one, we get to do a little background pattern stamping, which I was so excited to see. They don't do that all the time. So let's do that. I'm using my foam pad from the Stamparatus, even though it is retired. So I apologize. I'm going to try to get a new pad and mat here. But in the meantime, I'm still using this. And this is going to be this rectangle that we're using, this larger piece. We're also going to be using our shaded spruce card base. Okay, so this piece right here. So this is a 4 1/4 in length, this layering piece. And then I don't know, I might not have my, oh, here it is. Good job. Okay, so this piece is 1.5 inches. So it's 1.5 by 4 1/4 inches. It's a good size layer from the kit. And then what we're going to do is create this pattern all the way across. And then we're going to use that little petal pink circle die cut to stamp our Enjoy Your Day. So let's create this pattern first, and then we'll do that piece second. Let me see if I can find that piece. Here we go. And I love that all of these die cut elements have a stitched detail on them. It's always those little things in these kits that I just think really set it apart. I really do. Okay, so put this there. And let me get that pattern stamp. I'm going to use my full size guy again, but you could use your Stampin' Spot too. Stampin' Spots are really nice when you have larger stamps because you can just ink right over them. Okay. You can do your pattern however you want. So I'm just going to do my best to kind of follow their pattern here. And you can fit, like if you flip the stamp, you can kind of fit the pattern into each other like that. So that's what I'm going to do. And then they have like a little bit of a gap here. So I was assuming that they kind of like did it sideways like this, or like that, just depending. So let's see if we can do a little pattern that way. And then we'll come back in with our full pattern here. Let's see, which way should I do? I'll do it this way. So it really is like a puzzle piece, basically, like fitting the pieces in together. But you could really make that look pretty consistent across, just depending on how you want to do it. All right, so I'll leave it there. And then let's do our enjoy your day. If I could pick that up, there we go. That's celebrate today. Enjoy your day. There we go. All right. Love the font on that. So beautiful. Let's see. It says, Veronica says that she's excited to get her kit today. It shows that it's out for delivery today. That is awesome. Yes, they've been pretty timely with delivery of Paper Pumpkin this month. I'm thrilled with that. All right, so here's where I went wrong, and it was a total mistake, but I want to point it out in the directions here. I was supposed to wrap the black twine on this, and they're saying you can secure that twine right here with a little glue dot. So we'll follow their rules for that, and then we'll put that down on the card. So let me go ahead and get the black twine. It's a nice little touch, isn't it? I do like crisscross twine. I do love that look. Okay, what I tend to do is put adhesive on the back and just tuck my, my twine there. So I think I will just do like a little bit. We're going to put it down as a layer anyway, so why not? And then let's go ahead. We're going to kind of start from the top here and crisscross it. So it looks like that, I think. And like that-ish. My crisscross is kind of in the opposite direction, but I'm fine with that if you guys are. Okay, and then just gonna trim that off. My scissors need to be cleaned, I can tell. And then if you want to tuck your glue dot right back behind there, you can. So let me show you the difference in the glue dot size. So sometimes they send us different size glue dots. This is the standard size. This is the size that we typically get every month. This is what they look like this month. Oh my goodness. I love the bigger ones. So we're going to use one of these. You only see these like a couple of times a year. So I'm just going to see if I can get that off and tap it down here. Oops. Now I'm changing my location of crisscross. All right. Well, if we're going to do it that way, then let me see if I can just tuck this back. I might have been better off just doing it from the back. There we go. That's not too bad. And you can't really see it, so that's good. All right, and then we're just going to put this down here. And then we would use these if you don't have your seal, but I am going to be bringing in my seal, so I'm not following exactly as I should. I would always recommend, in terms of working with kits, if you know you're going to be working with them monthly, is to bring in some of your own adhesive and just make sure you have a pair of scissors. And then, of course, you can always add, more tools and things like that as you go. All right, so there is our layer. And then we're going to get this gigantic branch, this floral fabulousness here. Okay, and again, I'm not going to follow this 100%. I'm going to keep these little ones for a different project, but they're recommending that you pop those additional 3 right up on top of this branch for a layered look. So you can absolutely do that. I'm not doing that. And then we do this little dotted one here. But I felt like on my original card, I got this piece a little bit lost. Like you just didn't really see it. So I would actually put it in the other direction. Okay, so the way that they have it here, it comes across and it kind of crosses over with the branch. But I don't really want anything covering this because I think it's so pretty. So this is where all my like the alternate stuff starts, because I'm like, I would kind of do it this way. Like I would put it in a different direction, or I would make it also look sideways or something like that. So that's when I start to kind of deviate and play and kind of go in my own direction with the alternate ideas. So I'm going to pop this up here. Just pop these around. I feel like I need one here too. That will make me feel better. Okay. And then we'll pop these pieces off. So the paper pumpkin cards move pretty quickly, you know, even if you do make alterations to it. And then I'm going to angle it just like they did here, making sure that I stay within the borders of the card here. Okay. And then for this, we are going to pop this up on a dimensional here, but I think what I'm going to do is put this, and I mean, I could keep it horizontal, but I do want to change it. I'm not going to lie. So let's just put a little bit of adhesive on, and I'm just going to kind of put it in my own little direction there. We'll see how it looks. So I'm going to use my seal, but this would be a perfect piece for the adhesive dots. I'm just going to kind of get some glue on that in a couple of different places. Okay. And so what I want to do is just try to get a feel for the layout. Like, do I want it down here? Do I want it lower? Do I want to put it like sideways-ish? And that's kind of what I want to do. So I think I'm just going to pop it down, just see how that looks. Going off script. And then I'm going to just put this, I'm going to tuck it kind of underneath the flower here, just so that we can see what it says. And that's how I'm going to do my layer. Now on this one, I did include the gems because I thought it did add to, you know, the prettiness of the card. So they did 3. So we're just going to stick with that, and we'll do 3. Now, one thing that I usually tell people when you are getting into alternate projects, because the one thing I do always like to make clear is that these cards are so beautifully designed just as they are. Don't feel like you need to change anything unless you want to, or unless you want to experiment, or, you know, you want to get more into a different theme or color. Maybe you have a full pack of petal pink and you don't have shaded spruce, right? So in those cases, you might want to bring in and, you know, make your own adjustments and alternates. So that's really the whole purpose of alternates and extending the life of your kit if you have leftover pieces. I'm deliberately holding back pieces, but just something I wanted to point out. But here is our second card. So you can see here, like, I just felt like personally my piece got a little bit lost because I wasn't following their layout exactly. Like their layout was a little more popped than mine was. So on this one, I'm just making that slight modification there. So that is card number 2. And then let's go ahead and do our third card. This is our sympathy card. Very, very pretty. Very pretty, but sad occasion always. So what we're going to do is we're going to have the white card base. We're going to do this blue layer, and then these flowers here. So I'm just going to do the main flower, but you guys could do that however you want. So it's this piece. They recommend both. I'm only going to be using this one. Okay, so we're going to do that piece. We're going to need a banner piece. Let's get our, this is always like one of the biggest challenges for me, is finding the actual pieces. Let me set this aside, and this will be our reference point. Here's our blue layer. And here's our card base. Okay. I think that's it for all of the pieces that we need, but let's just be sure. Now, one of the greatest things about working just with the color kit or the kit, the shaded spruce ink color, like just the one shade, is that you don't have to worry about cleaning your stamps in between. But one of my favorite things to do with alternates is to bring in more of those ink colors here. So we're going to fold this. This is going to be a horizontal or a landscape style card. And I am going to just burnish this with my bone folder really quick. Okay, so for our stamping, we're going to do some stamping right on here. And what we want to do is we just want this little pattern to kind of peek out behind our flowers. So when you look at the layout of your flowers and you can see, oh, we have a little spot here, here, here. So that's where you would want to focus on stamping your pattern. So you can kind of see they have a method to where they have their pattern here. And so we're going to do the same. I'm going to keep it in the same direction. So the more blue focus is on the left and the white is on the right. And then let me just get my shaded spruce ink here. Oh, I moved it. Let's see what Teresa says. I love the font on those stamps too. Very, very pretty. Very pretty, very easy to read, a good mix, and they're all different scale. Like they're all different sizes. Okay, so I'm going to stamp this one here. And then I'm just trying to follow what they're doing. So I'm going to stamp another one here. And then we're going to stamp another one down here. Okay. And then I'll just leave this edge off, just like they're doing. Oh, let's leave this open. We need to, oops. Oh, you know I'm not going to get through live unless I stick my finger in the ink. We're also going to stamp sympathy on this one. So let me do this. I have this ancient sweater on. And I love it, and I won't give it up. It is so beat up. It's so old and so beat up, and I just love it so much. It's like you break it in, and it's just, I don't care that it's, you can see, like, it's going, and I just love it too much. I can't give it up. Okay, so here we have our sympathy. The deepest sympathy. I love that size of a banner. I never make them that short. So I'll have to do that on future cards. I think that that is so pretty. Okay. And then we're going to set that aside. Okay. So the other adjustment that I made, so aside from not using the second flower, they recommend 12 inches of twine, and they kind of have a little bow off to the side, kind of tucked behind this. I'm going to just wrap my twine because I struggle with a bow. So what I did was I literally just put a little strand of twine there. And again, that will leave me more twine for alternates. So just like a very minor thing, but that is something that I'm going to do. I'm going to use a little bit of seal on the back of this. I wish I had my Seal Plus out. The regular seal and there's like this little snap thing that you're supposed to do with the seal, and my brain refuses to do it. So with the Seal Plus, you don't have to worry about that. Pop that down. Okay. Now this piece is going to go up on dimensionals, as is our little banner sentiment. So we're going to pop this up. I'm going to try to get and then I'll do one in the center. And at this point, I have a little bit of seal on my scrap paper, so that's not great either. Okay. I'm going to angle this down. So you guys can position this however you want. Like I really want to kind of show that background there. So I'm just going to very slightly turn it. And then I'm going to take a little bit of twine, just wrap it around. You can wrap it multiple times. I'm just going to wrap it once. I just want it to be kind of like a little subtle touch to the back. I'm just going to tuck that there. So there's a little bit of something. Okay, and then I'm focusing my dimensionals towards the top so that when it overlaps here, there's nothing like bumping up against it. And you can put it lower. I'm going to put mine up to the edge of the card. I really want to show as much of those flowers as I can because they're too pretty to cover up. So you can see on their version, they line it up with the layer. I lined mine up with the top of the card. So subtle of a difference. Now with using the rhinestones, I just popped 3 around. I think that's what they recommend too, 1 large and 2 small. So let's go ahead and pop those on. Just kind of go around and about. There we go. All right, and then there is card number 3. So I will bring all of the cards back into the screen here so that we can look at these. We did a pretty good job, pretty close in terms of the main card. Okay, but I did want to hold some pieces back. Now remember, if you want to use your kits exactly as they're designed, you can also purchase refills when the refills become available, which is like typically, I think the 20th of the month. And then if they do like past kits, excuse me, usually become available 3 months after their original delivery date, or their original like scheduled month. Okay, so let me just pop that in with my adhesives. I'm just gonna clean this up and then let me bring these cards back in. Now, for those of you who want to stick around with me for a few minutes, I want to play with this organizer. If you need to go, that's totally fine. But I want to take a look at this. So let me lay out the cards really quick. And there we go. Just so that you can see that one. I don't know what I did with, oh, here it is. Right in front of my face, you guys. There we go. Okay. All right, let me take a look at this. So I did empty out my box. Teresa says, beautiful. I hope to assemble 3 of mine tonight. Thank you. Oh, you're so welcome, Teresa. Yeah, this is one of the most fun things to do, isn't it? Is like kind of going through your kit and playing with it, seeing what you like best about it, right? I mean, that's what I love about the kits, but I also love the creativity of it's like, okay, this is what they did with it. This is what I'm going to do with it, right? Okay, so let's take a look. Just for those of you who want to take your pictures, if you want to take a screenshot there, somebody told me once that I keep my hands on the cards too much. So I always try to make like a moment where if you do want to take a screenshot, you can. Okay, and now I'm going to move the cards and I'm going to get my paper pumpkin box and we're going to go through this organizer. Let me look in the instructions and see if they have anything about the organizer. I think it's pretty much self-explanatory, but just in case, if they do post anything about it, I'll let you know. They did not create a flyer for the May kit yet. I think we're not going to see it until May 2nd. So I think I'm just going to have to create my own flyer to go out with catalogs. I'm working on catalogs, by the way, you guys. Don't give up on me. They're supposed to go out this week. My goal is that they all be in the mail by Friday. Okay, so I don't see anything about the organizer here. Okay, that's just our little extra, our little bonus. So let's see what we have. We have 1, 2, 3 of these, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these. Okay. So those are the actual pieces that come in the kit. Now, here's the first thing that I think of when I look at this is like, how could I make this myself? How can I make this myself? I know. I adore paper pumpkin too, Teresa. I really do. There are so many of us who really, truly love it. And it's so much fun because we all get the same kit and we all do something different with it. Okay, so here, this is my April box. And so you can see I've just emptied it out. And I just want to build this out and see if I can fit my Oh gosh, there is this woman. Her first name is Ruth Ann. She posted in our demonstrator. There's a demonstrator paper pumpkin group, so that's one of the benefits of if you join, you could get into these demonstrator groups. She posts this genius thing about how to place ink spots in your storage, like your Stampin' Up storage for your regular ink pad. I'll show it to you. I'll grab one. And I have to get her last name and I have to post it to give her credit because I was so thrilled that she showed us that. But what I'm looking at here, do I want to put this face up or face down? I think is it face up so that we can slide these pieces in, right? So let me grab my ink spots. Okay. Yeah, like literally everybody in the demonstrator group was like going crazy yesterday. So we have this storage. Let me just show you this. For any of you who already have this ink pad storage, this is where our full size, ink pad goes. This is where your Stampin' Right marker would go. I don't have any Stampin' Rights next to me, but that's where it would go. And then here is where you can put your coordinating ink spot. So there you go. Fits perfectly right in there. Why did that not occur to, I don't know, me or anyone else? And if that was the original function for that and I missed the tutorial, man, am I sorry. But if you have a ton of ink spots and you like to use both, I like to use both. I wanted to tell you this, but this was not my idea. This was a woman named Ruth Ann. I'm going to put an actual post up and thank her because this is so amazing. So thank you, Ruth Ann. I will find your last name and I will thank you. And so that we all know. But here I have a ton of ink spots. This is just some of them, but just enough to get us started with this box. This was what appealed to me in the photo that they took and posted online when they were advertising this kit. So I want to see, right? Like, I think that's right. Hopefully I'm doing this right. So let me put an ink spot down. That should be the right size, I hope. Now, I don't want to tease anybody with soft succulent because that's retiring. So let's do early espresso. I clearly haven't gone through my ink spots yet. And then let's put another one here. Okay. Is Blackberry? No, we're keeping Blackberry Bliss. It's Rich Raspberry that's retiring. And then let me put another one. I might be doing this wrong. I'm supposed to be like interlocking these. Isn't that right? Hang on. This is why I like instructions. No, it's supposed to go like this. So I think I need to put this down first. Is that right? And then I get another long one. So if you guys know, let me know. I'm going to do it this way. Okay, so we're going to lock it up. Lock it up. There has to be a better way. I think if I can get one down, we'll be good with the rest. Or maybe just be smart and do it like that. I'll get there. I'll get there. Not winning any smart awards today. It's okay. All right. So are we retiring Mossy Meadow? I need my list. I hope we're keeping it. Just forgive me if I'm putting, I think we're keeping this one. Forgive me if I put an accidental color in here. We are retiring Pacific Point because I was so upset about it. But now that we have Azure Afternoon, I'm forgiving them. Okay. And then I'm going to pop this here. Okay, I've got it now, you guys. I've got it. You know who's going to love this? My son. He's going to come home, he's going to see this, and he's going to take it apart immediately because he loves to do that. Okay, so cherry cobbler. Now, I should be doing this in like color collection order, but just for the sake of having some fun, let's do this. Misty Moonlight coming back. Woohoo! Love that color. All right. These are retiring, so I'm going to set them aside. Oh, you guys, Blushing Bride. Oh, I'm sad about it. I know everybody else is ready to say goodbye, but I'm sad about it. Okay, I have two. This is a good way to find out what doubles you have. I have two basic grays. Oh, do you guys remember Rococo Rose? Oh, I missed that color. That was a beautiful color. Let's see. Great Granite. Another Pacific Point. I'm going to have to do like a retiring little gift set. Give some stuff away. Oh, what am I going to do without Evening Evergreen? I can't even take it. Okay, look, 3 basic grays. All right, well, I'm going to have to put this in a different spot. Oh, do you guys remember Bumblebee? Geez, it's been a while since I've done this. Okay. Well, let me pop this in. I have my groove now. We got our groove going. And then put it in the second notch. And that's going to be our ink spot size. Second notch. Okay. There we go. Check that out. Okay, so 1, 2, 3 long rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 short rows. If you want, if you want this particular style of storage, you can do whatever combinations that you want. But isn't this so much better than a former pillowcase holder? You wouldn't believe the stuff that I have my stamp stuff stored in. Oh, I should be ashamed of myself. Okay, here. So we have Shaded Spruce. We have a Poppy Parade right here. And I have about 50 other kits that I need to take apart. I have a video planned for that, to do some additional paper pumpkin organizing since I've been inspired by the Paper Pumpkin team. But I think that this is fabulous. I know that, a lot of people were asking for an organizer because for those of us who become collectors and we do get multiples of the kits, this is going to be good. Okay, so let me just say goodbye to everybody. All right. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. I'm still getting used to the setup and the cameras and, where to look and all of that. But for those of you who joined me late, let me just do a very quick recap. Okay. So today we talked all about the April 23 Paper Pumpkin Kit. It is called, I think, All the Little Things is the name of the April 2023 Paper Pumpkin Kit. It included an organizer in it, which was what we just assembled, and you could do it in whatever combination you want. I would love to see pictures. So if you guys are willing to share how you are organizing your kits, I saw some people doing sections where they had all of their twine lined up in the kit. In one section, they had like a stack of stamps, because it's always the same size, like with the stamp set. It was so cool. So it was just like a little combination of things, just depending on what you want to organize in your Paper Pumpkin kit. But we made the kit cards today. I will be following up with an alternates video for the April Paper Pumpkin kit. So stay tuned for that. We have free shipping happening tomorrow. So just a reminder, just in case you haven't seen, let me see if it will still let me share this image. I think it will. So we have free shipping on orders of $75 or more before tax on April 19th, 2023 only. So tomorrow, Wednesday, so today's Tuesday, tomorrow, Wednesday, April 19th, starting at midnight Mountain Time, 2 a.m. Eastern, or translated to your time, and then ending at 11:59 Mountain Time. That is when you can take advantage of the free shipping offer. So it's going to be 1 day only. Okay. Really good if you need to stock up on cardstock, anything like that. The other thing is In Color Club. If you have any interest in my In Color Club, send me an email, reply to the email that I'll be sending out later today with the replay. Let me know. I can get your name on a list. I will officially open the event, and you'll want to be on my email list for that. That's always where it gets launched first. And that will be happening on April 26th. So I think that is it for now. And then I will see you guys again on Thursday. All right. Bye-bye, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with me today.